Hey, this is Lieutenant Colonel Al, Warriors Way Combatives. In this video, I'm going to cover something that is a very contentious topic. There's a lot of people out there who talk about this, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. However, for our purposes, we just want to have an understanding of this thing we call fear. And the Warrior Flow way of overcoming fear is really making people understand what fear is and how fear affects us in the body, so that we can not only train ourselves to overcome it, but if you are training someone as an instructor, you could teach them how to overcome their fears. So, when we're talking about fear, and I'm not going to read through this briefing word for word, you can access this briefing like all the other briefings as a part of this training program, as a part of your instructor package. But a lot of people have talked about fears, I kind of hinted at, and fear is as old as man himself. We even see the ancient writings offer us all kinds of instructions and anecdotal information and analogies on how to cope with fear. So this presentation, again, is going to provide you with an understanding of how to overcome and manage fear. And is really a complement to the Warrior Flow book on overcoming fear. So we all have fear to varying degrees, and that's what makes this a difficult topic, because it goes to the heart of many human reactions. Probably with the exception of anger, no other emotion causes more physiological changes in the body than fear. And also, probably no other emotion makes us feel more uncomfortable than fear itself. As Caesar says there, as a result of a general defect of nature, we are either more confident or more fearful of unusual and unknown things. And this kind of goes to that whole thing of fear of the unknown. Also, General Robert E. Lee had one of the greatest quotes. This is one of my favorite quotes, and that is, "Gentlemen, you shouldn't take counsel of your fears." And the point he's making is that, listen, everybody's got fear, but you cannot allow fear to control you. And that's really what this is all about. It's about teaching you how to manage fear and teaching other people how to manage fear. And as Thucydides said himself, we must remember that, we're all basically the same as men. And that the difference is between one man or another is in training. And he was a general during the Peloponnesian War, and fought during the Peloponnesian War, against, Sparta versus Athens. So he was pretty well adept to understand what fear was all about. One of my other favorite quotes is from the movie Man on Fire, when the young girl, Dakota Fanning's character, asked Denzel Washington's character, is there anybody tougher than him? And I love his line. It's not about being tough. You're either trained or you're not. And that's really true. So when we're talking about fear, fear can be defined as an intense experience, which also triggers a physiological response. And this is important because there is a physical component and a psychological component to fear that cannot be ignored. And the reason most people can't overcome fear is because they're not aware of these physiological responses that are natural responses and how to control and manage them. Now, when we're talking about different types of fear, there's two types we generally deal with. There's rational fear, or what we like to call in Warrior Flow, recognizing danger. And at times it's been referred to as the good kind of fear. But it's really the recognition of danger that keeps us alive. So we're going to kind of continue to refer to rational fear as recognizing danger. Because if you can't recognize danger, you're stupid. I'm sorry. Then there's irrational fear. And irrational fear is really just that. It's not real. It's all self-created, or it's all based on a perception. And so, because it's not real, it's very hard to deal with, because you first have to identify it, whether it's rational or irrational, in order to deal with it, manage it, and to get rid of it. You can't get rid of something that's not there in the first place, but you can at least recognize it and then realize that you're worried about nothing. A good example of that is, most humans have a natural fear of the dark growing up as kids. And I kind of like Elon Musk's way in which he handled it. He said he was deathly afraid of the dark. And Elon Musk being Elon Musk, and being a kid who read a lot when he was young, he came up with an understanding that, well, if darkness is nothing more than the absence of light, then what's there in the day is there in the evening. And so that was kind of one of the ways in which he got over his fear of the dark. I'm not saying that it works for everybody, but I'm saying this is an example of recognizing irrational fear and then figuring out a way to move past it and manage it. In the next section, I'm going to get into on fear. We're going to talk about the mind, because it's very important we understand how our minds work, because it's a crucial part of being able to learn how to manage fear.